Just a little bit of background about the initiative. The James River Association is working alongside Richmond Public Libraries, RVH2O, and Four Winds Design to design and install green infrastructure practices to manage stormwater at Broad Rock Branch, North Avenue Branch, and West End Branch this year. In-person and virtual design charrettes are scheduled during the month of July to solicit feedback on green infrastructure practices that could be implemented at Broad Rock, North Avenue, and West End branches. I'm going to provide you with a quick overview of stormwater pollution and green infrastructure. Most of you probably know that stormwater is a threat to the health of the James River and its tributaries. When rain falls on impervious surfaces such as roads or sidewalks, it becomes stormwater. If stormwater picks up pollutants such as dirt, nutrients from lawn fertilizer, bacteria from pet waste, or toxics like oil from cars, it flows across an impervious surface and becomes stormwater pollution. And green infrastructure is a solution to that stormwater pollution. Green infrastructure practices include rain gardens, street trees, and conservation landscaping that enhance our built environment for the benefit of humans and the ecosystem of which we are a part. Green infrastructure contributes to healthier communities by absorbing stormwater before it enters our rivers and streams. It improves air quality and reduces the effect of the urban heat island effect. It also provides habitat for wildlife living among us. Some applicable green infrastructure practices that we will be discussing during today's virtual charrette are conservation landscaping and street trees. So in the first photo on the left, you'll see some conservation landscaping happening. This was a project that we led at Westover Hills Branch Library last year, also part of the Greening Richmond Public Libraries initiative. In the second photo, you'll notice a small rain garden that collects water from the downspout coming off of Westover Hills Branch Library. All right, so here we are at West End Branch. This is the site plan that our project partner Drew Harrigan put together for today's charrette. Just to orient you, Patterson Avenue is down here, and you have two entrances to the library over here and over here. And you'll notice that there's a large parking area up here. Just so you know, we're going to begin our virtual tour of the library down here by this entrance, and we're going to work our way around the library in a clockwise manner and conclude the tour right here by the entrance sign. All right, so here we are at the entrance to West End Branch Library along Patterson Avenue. You'll notice a sidewalk here along Patterson Avenue. We've got some drainage issues right here that Lisa Chrisman, the branch manager, is working on resolving, and we hope to have that resolved in the future. You'll notice that existing street trees along Patterson Avenue are crepe myrtles. There could be an opportunity here to replace those crepe myrtles with some native trees, shrubs, or other plants. We're going to work our way up the driveway. This is the main entrance to West End Branch Library. You'll notice that it doesn't really stand out. It's at our in-person design charrette yesterday evening, we heard that it could be more welcoming. You'll notice that behind this brick wall, there is a bicycle rack, which is wonderful. We want to be able to not only accommodate visitors coming by car, but also bicyclists and especially pedestrians who may be walking from the neighborhood or visiting the library after riding the bus. There's an opportunity to do something in this area adjacent to the main entrance. This is drainage gravel. This could be planted. It could also be replaced with river rock, something more beautiful. You'll notice some crepe myrtles here, and I'm going to move to the left. There's a larger view of the main entrance of the library. We've really got a lot of opportunity in this large mulched area to add some native plants. Right now, we've got a lot of crepe myrtles, some Japanese maples. This one's not doing great, and some laripe here in the foreground. It really presents an opportunity for conservation landscaping. As we move around to the rear of the library, what strikes me the most about this photo is the amount of impervious surface. We've got a large parking area. In fact, this parking area has 43 parking spaces in it. It presents an opportunity to possibly remove some of the parking spaces, maybe remove some of that impervious surface, and replace it with some green infrastructure practices. So keep that in mind as we proceed through the virtual tour. You'll also notice that there aren't many shade trees providing shade to the library. As we toured the library grounds yesterday evening, you know, it was hot, and in the middle of the day, you can only imagine that the temperature in the library parking lot is very hot. We identified an opportunity right here to plant a shade tree in this empty patch of ground, and we identified an opportunity to maybe do, you know, a green wall, a vine wall here, or maybe some grasses and shrubs in this area along the sidewalk that leads to the secondary entrance of the library. These are just a few more photos of the large parking area. This is the West Hampton post office over here. We've got a vegetated buffer here that largely consists of hollies, but there are some invasive species in this area, such as Ailanthus tree of heaven and English ivy, that could be removed as part of this project. A suggestion was also made yesterday evening to potentially create a pedestrian connection between the library and the post office to accommodate folks who may be visiting the library then going to the post office or vice versa. So that's an idea that we can explore too. This is another photo of the parking area over here. And again, here's the post office. We're looking back towards the entrance where we came from. All right, here's the secondary entrance to the library off of the parking lot. There are 2 handicap accessible parking spaces right here. And you'll notice that you can see the relatively new patio area that was constructed as part of the library renovations a few years ago. So a wonderful existing outdoor space at the library. And here's another view of that patio area.
Concrete, it's all concrete, that area?
All concrete, yeah, great point. All of this area is a concrete slab. There's landscaping here, as you can see, and some landscaping here, but that's correct. It's all concrete right now. Well, as we move around the side of the building, you know, the space, it's a pretty big space. It could accommodate a medium-sized group of individuals. It accommodated our Charrette participants perfectly yesterday evening, and we had about a dozen folks with us. I want you to think about how that space could be improved as part of this project. Here's another view of the patio, and you can note there's another bike rack here on this side of the library grounds. You'll notice that this area is largely mulched, and we have a few crepe myrtles right here. You'll notice some knockout roses here and some hydrangea here. I'm just going to let you all know that this grassy area that we'll see in subsequent photos has been identified as the preferred location for a bioretention area on the library grounds. It's an area that presents the most opportunity to capture stormwater as it's coming off of the library facility and even coming off of the large impervious parking area. And 2 more photos, you can really start to see the large grassy area. So in addition to it becoming a bioretention area to capture stormwater, some suggestions were made yesterday evening that it could become more accommodating to visitors. So I want you to think about how this space could not only serve as a bioretention area, but could also accommodate visitors coming to and from the library.
Hey, Justin.
Yes.
Now I forgot my question. Shoot.
No worries.
Oh, is there irrigation here? How do they water? There is. Okay.
Yes, there is irrigation. Confirmed by Lisa Chrisman yesterday evening. And so this photo right here gives you a good sense of what the existing patio looks like. We've got 2 picnic tables, 3 umbrellas, and a bench.
Someone asked in the chat box about how many people use the bike racks and what's the capacity at the site for bikes?
Yeah, so both bike racks are this size right here. And I'm going to go back maybe to this photo right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 bikes maximum could be parked on each rack. So capacity is about 14. That's pretty good capacity for a library of this size. And Scott Firestein noted that Patterson Avenue does not have bicycle infrastructure on it right now. Not to say that people don't use it for bicycling purposes, but it is not it does not have bicycle lanes on it right now.
Great.
We do have families who bicycle here, and some solo bike riders, but quite often we have families who'll come as a group too.
Great.
And sorry, I'll let you get through it. Just as you walk around or walk through it, we had 2 other questions around
Sure.
space usage and capacity and ADA ramps.
Okay. So we do have an ADA ramps over here by the handicap accessible parking spaces. And this, as we determined last night, this is the handicap accessible entrance to the library. The main entrance to the library where we began our tour is not accessible. It's a great question there. What was the second question, Amber?
Parking space and usage and capacity.
So we discussed possibly initiating a parking study to get a better sense of parking space usage. Anecdotally, for what we've heard from Lisa and Scott is that a lot of the parking spaces don't get used on a daily basis. The times when they do get used the most are during programs, when a lot of people are coming to the library. So we would like to conduct a parking study to determine, how much the parking area is being used. Good question.
Is this a voting site?
No,
Okay.
there is too, I just wanted to point out, there is a ramp that goes to the patio. It goes up to where the bike rack is and then accesses the patio from that corner. So it is also ADA accessible. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for pointing that out, Lisa. Any other questions, Amber?
No, there's one on the budget, and I was going to work on pulling that up while you continue going through so I can give an accurate number.
Thank you all. Great question so far. All right, so now we're working our way back around the library toward Patterson Avenue. And I'm going to start by talking about this oak tree right here. And talking to Lisa Chrisman yesterday evening, and this picture doesn't really do a good job of showing the true health of the oak tree, but it's not in great health. It's just not a healthy tree. And we suspect that when the library was renovated a few years ago, there was some root damage done to the tree, which has resulted in it kind of slowly dying. So as part of this project, the oak tree is planned to be removed. And there's the potential to remove this existing retaining wall. It's a short retaining wall, but to remove this retaining wall right here. As we move closer to the library, as it faces Patterson Avenue, you'll notice that there are a number of windows that face out to Patterson Avenue. Now, from an outdoor space standpoint, Patterson Avenue is very noisy. So creating outdoor spaces in this general area for visitors to use might not be in our best interest. It's just a very noisy corridor. If you've walked along Patterson Avenue, you may agree. But there's great potential to bring the outdoors into the library space with some conservation landscaping here. And we could potentially install some plants that attract pollinators and birds and other wildlife to make the window experience more interesting to folks inside the library. We're going to move further down Patterson Avenue back towards the main entrance sign. You'll notice that there are a number of downspouts coming off of the Patterson Avenue side of the library. And here's another window to the outdoors. Just another opportunity to maybe create some sort of pollinator garden, alerting garden right here. And here we are back at the main entrance sign. A few folks yesterday evening mentioned that the main entrance sign's a little dull and doesn't stand out as you're passing by. So I think there's an opportunity to maybe add some color in the landscaping around the sign to really make it pop, make it stand out to passersby. Want to talk about the downspout. So the West End Branch Library presents a number of opportunities to capture water coming off the roof. And here are two examples. I pointed out the downspouts on the Patterson Avenue side of the library, but there are a few downspouts on the parking area side of the library. We could redirect that water into a bioretention area or some other green infrastructure practice. So I point those out as an opportunity. Also wanted to point out the existing landscaping, which largely consists of non-native plants. So native plants are preferred as they are adapted to thrive in our area and provide food and habitat for wildlife such as insects and birds. Non-native plants have little ecological value, and invasive plants outcompete native plants. And non-native plants found on library grounds include those knockout roses, liripe, crepe myrtles. There are a number of them. All right, so that concludes our virtual tour. The summary of our existing conditions include entrances to the library not welcoming. That includes the main entrance to the library and the secondary entrance to the library. Existing street trees along Patterson Avenue are non-native crepe myrtles and present an opportunity for replacement. The large impervious asphalt parking area has 43 parking spaces with no shade trees. The patio has a nice outdoor seating area, but it has the potential to accommodate additional library programs. The large grassy area is the preferred location of the bioretention area. The library windows facing Patterson Avenue present opportunities for gardens. Landscaping on library grounds consists of non-native plant species. Invasive plant species such as tree of heaven and English ivy exist along the perimeter of the library grounds. And the oak tree on Patterson Avenue will be removed, and the retaining wall may be removed as well. So that concludes our tour, an overview of existing conditions at West End Branch Library.